I think now we can start. I'm just trying to get my posture good for the wide shot. I don't know if that's even possible.
The
curse of the wide shot is that you can never quite look good in it. It's just going to be a wide, like man side boob shot.
Man side boob.
Yeah, man side boob shot. That's just going to be really gross.
Okay.
Hi, Paul. Welcome to Table Scraps.
Hey, Ben. Thank you for inviting me to record Table Scraps today.
Oh, yeah. It's my pleasure. I can't imagine doing it without you. Although there will definitely be times I'll do it without you, just so you know. So don't get too crazy.
Uppity.
Don't get uppity.
Yeah, that's right. I'm known. They call me Paul the Uppity.
Yeah. That is your nickname. Everyone, I'm very excited about today's episode of Table Scraps. First of all, be sure to like and subscribe because it's a YouTube channel and we're growing. We're at a ripe 55 subscribers or so.
Oh, man.
But who knows?
Someone might get 60.
I know. Dare to dream. But maybe by the time someone watches this down the line, it'll be like 200 subscribers. One can only dream.
Wait, is that possible? Did it go that high?
It's shocking, but we could do it. So everyone like and subscribe and leave comments and all that stuff. Today, this topic is so important. I actually printed out little table scraps because I had some sort of, it's not cardstock, but I had like good quality paper.
Sure.
And I was like, my friend Taylor Strecker of Taste the Taylor and the Taylor Strecker Show. She has a wonderful video podcast. You should check it out. I just named what it's called. And she printed out little cards on hers and I loved them. And she basically just, like I've done, I just taped, I don't want to print these out every single time. So I've just taped questions on the back and we're just going to swap them out.
Very arts and crafty.
Well, it's either be arts and crafty or do important things with your life.
I don't think when we became friends, I didn't think I realized it about you. And then slowly over time, it's all these arts and crafts. And we go like, wow, that's unexpected.
Yeah. But I'm not true. And yet, this whole thing is arts and craftsy.
Yeah.
Right here.
No.
You know? You know what I forgot to do for this episode? I said I was going to get it last episode. A little side table.
Oh, yeah.
Because look, I'm like going to do the whole reach over.
Okay.
And I'm not going to sip the coffee. Okay. Today, this is what I want to talk to you about today.
Great.
We are at the peak of Traitors madness in America right now.
Love it.
Traitors has been on for we've had 9 episodes or so.
It's the only must-see TV I watch.
It is if it's 6 o'clock on a Thursday, because we're both on the West Coast. Yeah. I am watching the Traitors. I do not delay it because those spoilers come out fast and furious.
It got spoiled for me. Like I was working, and so I didn't get I was going to get it today when I came back home from Atlanta. And then someone sent me like, oh, did you see this, Paul? And sent me a link to something. And I was like, oh.
Now, I'm mad at that. I'm mad at that because, yes, it's been about 5 days since the episode aired. But why would someone say, did you see this? And then send a link to the spoiler?
They didn't actually say, did you see this? They just sent the link. And to be fair, like the normal protocol is like we talk about the show beforehand and then the link comes up like a couple days later and we send it.
Yeah.
We didn't get to talk. But I think the presumption was that I had seen it. And that's a fair presumption. I don't blame the person. Did the link have like a thumbnail that came through so you couldn't even avoid? That's right. I saw the 2 people and I saw that it was 2 because if it went another way, it would have only been 1 depending. So anyway.
I would not appreciate that at all. But then again, I don't know why it took you 5 days to watch the episode.
I was busy and I didn't have Peacock on my laptop and blah, blah, blah.
Well, that's sad. The reason why we're talking about the Traitors is obviously this is a video chat show about gaming.
Yep.
And Traitors is one of the few things that really intersects my 2 worlds of content creation, which is talking about reality TV with Watcher Crappens and talking about board games with Game Brain. And we have to talk about Traitors. We have to talk about.
You know what, Ben? Let's talk about Traitors.
So I started watching, because I was so caught up in Traitors Mania, I started watching season 2 of Traitors UK, the Traitors UK.
I have friends who really enjoy UK Traitors.
Yeah. And so I started watching it. So I'm about 5 episodes into it, and it's great.
Great. Okay.
And it's interesting because the Traitors UK is normies.
Yeah.
It's all just regular people, which is really fun because you don't know anything about them. So it's fun to discover. And also what that show has that America doesn't have is like what would happen if you put a teacher and a chess teacher, like a school teacher and a chess teacher, and a videographer, all in the same, like a psychic, put them all in, and how would they fare? So that's kind of fun, you know. But watching it and watching them, the way they navigate like the round table and suspicions and strategies, it just got me thinking about like just Traitor strategy.
Yeah, no.
So I have questions. I have questions for you.
If only you had printed them out on cards.
Yes, exactly. I have actually way too many questions, but
Okay,
like I'm curious about this.
You know what? Let's get through them all.
Let's do that. Let's okay, Paul. You're
Paul.
hired. You're not. You're brought on to the Traitors.
I'm at the castle.
You're at the castle. What is your strategy going into it? What is your strategy
before I even know whether I'm?
You're like in the hotel. You know, it's like it's day one. You know, you're gonna be like, I'm gonna go into this game with a certain sort of approach. What is your approach gonna be?
My approach, like I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and we concurred that like Paul 10 years ago would have been like top 3 eliminated.
Yeah.
Like not at the end, like, you know, the first 3 people eliminated. Like I've grown a lot since then, and I think we agree now that I'd be like the first 5.
Yeah. I'm definitely first 5.
But assuming that like you're taking advice from someone who like self-presents as a person who's going to get eliminated quickly.
Yeah.
I think in Ocean's 11, there was advice that Matt Damon got from Brad Pitt and George Clooney about how to play this character.
Yeah.
And he goes, you got to be charming and forgettable, you know, all at the same time. Like, you know,
Yeah.
And I think that is what I would have to be. Try my version of charming enough and then forgettable.
Yes, and that's very difficult.
Yeah, 100%.
And so what's happening, without giving away spoilers for Traitors UK, is there is someone who is very gregarious. He's a traitor, and he's very gregarious and very social, and that's sort of like alternately making him both suspicious and not suspicious. You know, so I guess like one of my questions would be, is it dangerous to be really well liked by people and the Traitors? Because at some point, I think people will look at someone who's friendly with everyone and say, wait a second, this person has good relationships with everyone. Because as a traitor, I think you want to be friends with everyone. You want to be like, you don't want to ruffle feathers. You want to be warm. You want to hear what's going on. You don't want to seem anxious. We see that like on the Traitors, on the US Traitors, people who act fidgety or anxious or whatever, or arrogant, they rub people the wrong way and they often get banished.
Well, I think how should I say it the best way? Like watching Traitors made me understand a little bit how you first approached Avalon, a social deduction. Yeah, you specifically.
Then that's by the way, that's the Resistance Avalon. That's the game you're talking about.
Yes. Because you watched a lot of like Big Brother and like Survivor and all that stuff. And in those games, like there is as I see it, there is a premium about being cream of the crop. Like you want
cream of the crop.
Like you want to be the best of in the middle.
Yes.
Because if you're too on the bottom, you're a liability. If you're too close on top, you're a threat. And if you can be cream of the crop, you have a pretty good spot, you know.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work in the Resistance Avalon per se, because like there's no elimination.
Right.
Whereas like in these other games that there were, and like with Traitors, because there's these, you know, elimination, strength eliminating, there are factors that eliminate strength and there are factors that eliminate threat. I kind of feel that I would go for cream of the crop. That said, I would also not try to be friends with everyone equally. I would find myself a little group, kind of like, I would say like a 60-40, like friends with everyone, but I'm tight with some group just a little bit more because you're going to need people to defend you.
Yes, I think that's a great way. I think that I would go in and I think naturally anyway, I'm going to want to be social with everyone. I think the key is you don't want to ask too many questions. Like, what do you think about so-and-so? What do you think about so-and-so? Because people always clock that.
Yep.
People always like, they're always asking, because that's something that's coming up on British Traitors. It comes up on this one, on US Traitors. Like when people sense that you're asking too many questions, then it seems like you are trying to suss out something. And that seems like traitor behavior. Whereas if you're just, I think, I think being social and being friendly, and maybe what you do is you throw out a few like crazy ideas. This is, by the way, this is if you're a traitor. Sorry.
I think you should always present as a clueless good person.
Yes.
But you can't be, and there's a hard limit on how smart you can present.
Mm-hmm.
If you're masterminding and controlling the narrative too much, people feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
If you are too invisible, people start
Feel
suspecting.
like it's sneaky. I think you just can't be domineering.
Sure.
That's the key. I think domineering, whether you're a traitor, whether you're a faithful, if you are controlling the narrative too much, people are always going to be suspicious of that at some point in the game. So I think you have to go in there and you have to make human connection. I think you can put forth some of your suspicions, but I think you have to have restraint, and maybe you say, I got a weird vibe off of so and so. I don't think you can even say, here's my idea. This person's
That's
bad.
right. Ironically, like if people are thinking like, how does this apply? Like this applies to everything.
Yes.
This is not just for this game.
Yeah, domineering is not good in general.
But like in life, in board games, like, cream of the crop gets you pretty far.
It does get you pretty far. Okay. I guess the question is, this sort of folds into that. Is it better to be quiet or loud? I guess it's in the middle. Mm-hmm. You want to have enough opinions so that way people don't think you're like Dan from season 2, where you have to have opinions on things. And I think if you're a traitor, I think you build like a clueless case on someone.
Like the way that
no one really believes. Be like, maybe it's like so-and-so. And then you almost do it in a way where like you're not really hoping to convince anyone. It's just where that way you just like look so lost at sea, like Tom Sandoval.
When I look at Dan, like, from season two, right? Dan,
yeah.
Like it wasn't that he wasn't talking, he was withholding.
Yeah.
And I think I think you can be quiet, and like I think you can not silent, but I think you can like not know and just be soft spoken and not really contribute that much in the beginning at least. Mm-hmm. But like if someone asks you something, you have to have an opinion of some sort.
Yeah.
I think when it looks like you have an opinion and you're not giving it, it looks really suspicious, because people, and this is once again all of life, it doesn't matter why you're doing the thing. The moment they clock something suspicious, they're going to assume the worst.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it's okay, so what happens? It's like the first day or two when there's almost nothing to go on, and someone says, Paul, who do you think? Let's say you're faithful.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know anyone here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't dare to say, I don't want to put any bad blood out there because I don't know anyone. Mm-hmm. But like, I'm keeping my eye out,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's dangerous though, because I think people want answers. They want someone a name to be thrown out there.
But I think I think day one, you'll probably get some grace.
Yeah.
But more than that, like what you want to do, I believe, as a person who would be eliminated first five, is you want to make connections with people as people. The most important talking is actually not who did it. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, what are we having for breakfast today? What are we doing? Like, oh, that looks good. Like, and then like people, when they playing social deduction games like this, I'm over speaking, so I apologize. But like, I believe the way it's edited, you're missing all the context of just the normal connection. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if you only talk about the game, you look sketch.
Right. But you have to be able to connect on a human level where people don't want to ever, betray you or whatever.
Yeah, like you could be funny, or you can be like interesting, or like cream of the crop, charming and invisible at the same time. Like,
I think that's such a hard balance, charming and invisible.
It
is. For me, where I always get in trouble with these sort of games is that we've said before, I have a love of the sneaky. And I love a sneaky moment. And so I think I would have a hard time. I remember back like maybe 12 or 15 years ago, Big Brother used to do what was called Big Brother Media Day. I don't know if they still do it, but they used to. And what they would do is they would invite different journalists into the Big Brother house for a day ahead of the season. And It'd be someone from Entertainment Tonight, someone from Variety, things like that. And they would play Big Brother, and they'd do like a whole week of Big Brother in one day. So there'd be a head of household competition, and there'd be a veto competition, and there would be, someone would get evicted, someone would be on slop, but it was like playing a real game of Big Brother. And so I did it 2 years in a row. I was, my friend was a writer at like TV Line or something, and was like, hey, why don't you write something for us? So I went in. The first year that I went in, I was like, I'm going to play this like I would if I were on Big Brother, which was, I'll be cool, I'll be nice with everyone, and I'll put like just little tiny, like, I was never like, what do you think about so-and-so? The way I would operate would be, I was very friendly, very affable with everyone. I was so under the radar that I never got pulled in to the diary room, because they actually filmed it. They actually film it and put it on DVD and release it.
Love it.
Like, it's like an episode,
Okay, sure.
And so I was like not on the radar of even production. But what I would do is I would just sort of walk around and I'd say things. I'd be like, oh yeah, so-and-so's weird, right? Like I would just sort of like subtle little things when appropriate.
Sure. Reputation is destroying.
Yeah. And like, first of all, I was so paranoid.
Sure.
The entire thing, by the end of that day, I was in my own head. I was crazy. And then I actually wound up I think a little bit on the radar as a potential nominee, because I was actually too like friendly and kind. I was like, wait, Ben's being so nice, and I think, a look on my face where I look like I'm up to something.
Sure.
And so people, like, despite me doing the whole connection game, and despite me just trying to be really subtle, I still wound up pinging as suspicious.
No, I think one of the things that, like, my friend said, the reason why you'd be eliminated is because you can't play dumb. Like, and I think there's a truth to that. Not that I'm so smart, but like, there's value in being in the herd. Like in the bell curve. When you're on the outside, if you're completely like useless, or you're too smart, those where you get the chopping blocks first.
Yeah.
And so with that, like, I think the question is like, would I be able to not be so, per your word, domineering about my viewpoints?
Yeah.
And just let people talk. And
it's hard. It's hard if you have an idea of how you think, like, who's bad and who's good, and you don't want to be domineering, and you have to sort of like keep it, like, sort of let it out drips and drabs, that way it's not too much. Like, that is really hard. I mean, every time I play
camera and all,
every time I play Avalon, and I've learned over the years to bite my tongue more. But like, it's on the moment that you get falsely accused, you have to stay so calm and in order to not explode back and then put more suspicion on yourself.
Yeah, I think what you have to do is have faith that the game will. There are ebbs and flows in the game, and when a wave hits when something hits, like you have to have the faith that it will also recede. Because if you lean into, if you fight force with force, I think what happens is, like, once again, it's never like, oh, I know this person's bad. All it is like, I ping this person is off for some reason. And it could be because they're nervous. Yeah. It could be because, like, there have been a lot of people who get removed just because they were nervous.
Yeah, I mean, being able to, it's hard. Like, do you look, if someone is fidgety and if someone is calm, do you put any weight into that?
I think,
if you're a faithful, I should say. If you're a traitor, but if you're a faithful and you see that someone is very nervous and someone is very calm, on some shows they say, well, that person is so fidgety, they must be a traitor. And some, it's like they're so calm, they must be a traitor. Like, so which one do you think is more indicative of guilt?
Here's the thing that I would say, and this is like, I don't have the serial killer capacity to do this yet. I'm working on it, everyone. I'm working on it.
Good.
But I don't have it quite yet. What you want to do is watch everyone's stress response, and then you act the average of that.
The problem is that, like, how do you know what everyone's stress response is?
You just look. You just like you look how people react in the round table, and they're being accused and whatever, and then you see what they perceive as normal, and then you try to be that. I don't have that ability yet.
Yeah,
but one day. But if you do that, then once again you're cream of the crop. Yeah, and people feel safe.
Well, it's like singing. One thing that happens on this show is that people will be accused of being too defensive.
Yeah.
And like there's a line between defending yourself and being defensive.
Yeah.
And when you cross into defensive, people flag that as guilty.
Like what I will do is like when let's say we play Avalon with my group, with the group, I'm a very calm.
You are a calm player.
But I'm not playing the actual game. I'm playing the long game but when I'm playing with new people, I actually tend to be more emotive because my calm looks creepy. Because they're new to it and they're all like pinged out at at 11. And if I'm not pinged out at 11,
you need to match.
Exactly.
I think that's a big part of it is that you have to, whether you're traitor or faithful, you have to match because you want to be part of the herd. You can't be cream of the crap unless you are part of the crap. You have to be they have to be the corn kernel in the crap.
That's right.
Otherwise, you're just the
corn
toilet
kernel
paper.
crap.
You don't want to be the toilet paper and you don't want to be the toilet. You want to be the kernel.
There you go.
That's in the poop.
There you go.
So you have to match everyone's vibe and energy level. And that's really, really hard if you're in your own head.
That's I think it's probably easier if there were no stakes. I think the stakes of it makes it
Yeah.
Because I think if people just did this normally, it's just high school.
Yeah. I have a question.
Yeah,
in a competition, when, if ever, do you go for a shield? Because there's a lot of loaded elements in going for a shield.
I think I go for a shield as long as it's not hurting anyone. I'll be okay hurting money, but if it's gonna put someone else not in physical jeopardy, but where I'll make an enemy, I probably won't do that. But I think everyone can justify I needed the shield.
But do you think going for a shield makes you look more or less like a traitor?
I think everyone, it's situational because if you're so good. And people know that you're good, then no, I take it back. No, I think you can always justify going for a shield.
Yeah, you can always say, I couldn't risk it. I felt the heat. Yeah,
that's right. Because here's the thing that traders will do, especially when they're good. They'll pick random people. This is where even center herd is actually difficult because in the beginning of after the first 3 or something. People are suspicious, and then there are people with no suspicion on them, and then all of a sudden, one of those people get knocked out. Goes, "Oh, that was so random.
Yeah,
why did they?" And so,
do you think it's a smart play whenever a faithful says, "If I get murdered tonight, I'm telling you it's so and so," because I think it's a double-edged sword. On the one hand, if I think, if I suspect Boston Rob is a traitor, and I have a strong case, and I say. Which is what Derek did. I say, if I get murdered tonight, then so-and-so is the traitor. So there is a chance by calling them out, you could get murdered. But then I also feel like a smart traitor would never murder someone who calls them out, right? And because that makes it very obvious that they're the traitor.
Well, no.
So is there actually a smart double bluff in actually just blatantly saying that out loud? Does that kind of puts, if you suspect someone, that puts them in a...
Let's say you are a traitor and we've been going at it and I'm going Ben's traitor, but we kick off Jose or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, okay, well, if I don't make it, you know that Ben killed me. What I would say to that is you would have to look at the person who you've accused and see what level they're playing at, because they'll either play at the level 1 or level 2. Level 1 being let's just play it straight and just kill you, and level 2
if you come for me, I'll kill you is level 1.
So I would technically against you, I would say that because I would go oh, Ben's trying to be sneaky, and so Ben will be trying to be sneaky. He will more likely than not kill someone else, making me gain more heat, and that way someone else. That's how I believe Ben would think.
And the thing is this: you could still just kill that person and then say, which is what Boston Rob did to Derek, and say, "Oh well, but now I'm being framed."
Yep.
They set it up perfectly, because that is something else. So I guess that's sort of a draw if you say that. when you're at the round table, when do you decide that you're going to be the first one to speak? You know, having taking the opening shot. The opening shot can work out really well because it can establish the narrative and the tone, and then it puts someone else in defense. And then the rest of the time they're on defense. So if it's a he said, she said, being able to be the first one to get something in there first, you do get like that heuristic, like I don't know if it's the recency heuristic or the bias, but you've sort of established a tone. So there's that. But on the flip side, if you go first, you run the risk of coming in too hot.
The answer for me is I would never be the first one to speak until we're like in the quarterfinals or semifinals. There's too much game. And so this is presuming I'm good. There's just too much game. And so like me being a person who has a reputation of calling someone out, like eventually over time would more likely than not bite me in the ass. So only when like, we're close to the end of the game do I go, oh, I'm doing this and now I'm in the finals.
Right.
That's how I would approach it.
When do you speak up at the round table? How long do you let the conversation go before you chime in? If you're a faithful and if you're a traitor?
I think like for me, when I think of all the games that I've played, I almost always use my touch when it's going in a direction that I don't want it to go to. So ultimately, but I have to do it before people have locked it. So I'm looking at everyone. I'm going like, oh, here a point is being made. Has it been made yet? Because the moment it's made, like then now I'm pushing against it, and that may be too late in a very bad way. I go like, oh, on the other hand, like I will say that blah 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 blah, and I would
just draft behind someone.
So like you never
I don't think I would speak if I'm faithful. I think I'd let someone else make. If they say something that I truly believe, I think I let them say it and let them put their neck out on the line, and then I support them, and then maybe that curries favor.
Sure,
maybe that's like, ooh, this is a good position to be in because I'm both being vocal, but I'm also not being the one who's originating the idea. And I'm supporting it, and I maybe after the round table they like me because I supported them. But also, if it's something I truly believe in, I'm also furthering the case of it. But I think going first. But then again, knowing me, I probably would just chime in. Like I would probably not draft behind, but I think I would aspire to draft behind people and support in that way.
I mean, I oftentimes I'm accused of being a selfish player. Like I love the spotlight. I love
it's fun. That is really fun.
Right. And so the question is like, could I shut up for $250,000?
Well, also, if you are in a situation where there's someone that you're allied with and you are very, very, very convinced that they are a traitor, you pretty much know, do you go after them or do you play dumb and hope that they think that they are using you, so they're going to protect you as a traitor?
Once again, it depends on the person, of course.
Yes.
But like, I'm a person who likes playing games like this dangerously.
Yeah.
So
you would go after the traitor? If
no.
You had a traitor out?
No.
Yeah. I would totally. Well, I mean, it's tricky because then you could wind up being considered a traitor too. But I think I would like hide under the long shadow of the traitor.
Yeah, no.
But you'd have to do it carefully. You'd have to say, I think you would have, if people are saying, Ben, Paul is a traitor. I know you're like besties with him, but like he's a traitor. And I'd have to play it like, I would not to say, I know. I would have to say, I'm just so scared because he's so close to me and like I don't know. Because if the mob is saying you have to turn against this person, well, how do you not turn against them without looking like a traitor?
No. I absolutely, if I get the sense that the mob is going to go,
you have to go with the mob.
Yeah, you have to go with the mob, or you do something very different where you go, hey, I'm gonna pick this random person. There's no way that you're going to be voted out today, and I can't make this choice.
Yeah.
It's too close to me.
Okay, so if you're a traitor and you are faced with a scenario like in this current season where you have to put 3 people in coffins, let's say. Also on the British one, they had a situation where they had to condemn 4 people into a dungeon, and then one of those people was going to get killed. In this case, one of the people in the coffin get killed. And a big thing on the Traitors was like, what if there was a traitor in the coffins? And so if you are a traitor,
I'm a traitor.
Do you put a traitor in the coffins? Do you do that? Do you risk it? Or do you feel like people would be so convinced? At this point, I think it's like an instant meta. It seems like people who are trying to say like, aha, I'm smart. I bet there was a traitor in there to throw us off their scent. But at this point, is the smartest thing to actually not do the bluff?
I think that what happens is like anytime that your name is put up for anything, you're in people's consciousness.
Yeah.
And that's bad. I would never put someone in the coffin, assuming that I'm on good terms with everyone. If I'm not on good terms, then I'd make a case.
Yeah. I think what you just do is you don't put a traitor in the coffin. I think it's too high risk because again, it's a radar situation. But you start to maybe fan the flames that maybe there is someone that's in there. Because I think the thing is that it's too exciting. And it's too tasty to think like they thought they were being sly, but I'm on top of it. I'm on it. I'm on their scent.
People want to feel smart.
Yeah, people want to feel smart, so it's too difficult to pull away from the coffin theory.
Yeah,
right?
no, it's
yeah. So I think we don't put anyone in the coffin.
What it is? Per your verbiage, it's a siren song.
It's a siren song. The coffin theory is a siren song because like maybe there's a traitor in there, but like the odds are actually that there's not a traitor in there. Usually, there's way more non-traitors, right?
No.
Okay. Now, if you are a traitor,
when
you are a traitor, what faithful types do you pick off? People who call you out, randoms, or neither?
I believe you have to mix it up.
Yeah.
I believe that otherwise people sense a pattern. I think at first it's going to be random.
Yeah.
I think I would tend to go with people. If someone has said my name, like I would probably not get them out. I would not murder them, but I would try to have the group remove them.
Yeah. You start putting suspicion on them, right?
And only in like early mid or middle mid game would I just get them out.
Right. I think because I always feel like if you're a traitor and you're now just like taking out people who come for you, it's almost like a desperation move. Because if you're just if you're just like not on the radar or you're controlling the narrative, then it's fine. But I think that one of the issues on the Traitors is that the traitors themselves are really bad about crafting a narrative with their eliminations. I mean, in fact, the killing someone random is good because you can't make sense of it. But on the other hand, I think you want to create stories and you want to send people like you want
down paths.
Yeah. You want to be that if you're a traitor, you need to pay attention to how people vote at the round table. And in fact, everyone needs to pay attention to that. And I think that's something that people do not do a good job of, which is that every time someone casts a vote, that's a piece of evidence that can be used for or against you. And if you're a traitor, you can see, okay, who led the charge against getting this one person out, okay? And who was against them? Who spoke up against them? Whoever spoke up against that person or disagreed with them, that's who you eliminate. And then you are framing someone who has the attention of people, and you're framing them to be a potential traitor. I think that's how you should operate.
Sure. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you.
Like you did it, Ben. You solved it.
See, this is how I'd be at the round table.
That's right.
I'd be like,
top 5. First 5.
If you get a chance to recruit a faithful, do you recruit chum? Do you recruit someone who's going to be helpful as a traitor, or do you recruit someone that you can kind of ally with and push someone else out of the turret?
Obviously situational, right? It depends.
Given that going forward, everything is situational.
Yep.
So knowing that it's situational,
I think most of the time it would be best for me to pick chum.
Yeah.
I think the reason why is if someone's name is already out there, it's better for the round table to pick someone than it is for someone to stay hidden, and then like there's an equal chance of hitting me.
Yeah. Yeah. So. And I think that you always recruit. But if given the choice between recruiting versus murder, I think you always recruit, because a recruit is the same as a murder, essentially. You're reducing a faithful, and you are increasing the amount of protection you have, because now you've increased your odds. And you've increased the number of like the fog of war, whatever I'm trying to say. You just you hide better. You hide better. What is the biggest mistake the traitors make? What is the mistake that you see traitors making time and time again?
I think what happens is they get comfortable.
Yeah.
I think they get a little cocky of like, oh, it usually happens around episode 4 or 5, where they've gone under the radar long enough, and then someone says something snide. Someone, doesn't pay attention to like how they're supposed to act surprised.
Yeah. Or they don't realize that, or they don't pay attention to traps.
Mm-hmm. And so in that way, I think you always have to be vigilant and remember that you're not a murderer, you're a traitor. You have to, in your mind, at least always presenting as like someone who doesn't know. And if you can keep doing that, then what will happen is people will think that you're a person who doesn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
the second most common mistake is like they can't get along.
I was about to say, I actually think that might be the biggest mistake, is if they get greedy. If you have a situation where like a Boston Rob comes in and then just says, this is how it's gonna happen, and then now Danielle has lost trust in Boston Rob. I think that's annoying for Danielle, but I think you sort of stick through it, and then when the time comes I think you push someone out, not in the turret. I think you get along and you're smiley and nice in the turret, and then you push people out outside of the turret. And I think that like Danielle hatching a plan that she's going to push Carolyn out to get a new traitor in, so that way she can take out Boston Rob with a new traitor. Once you start thinking like that, you're going to fall into traps, because you're going to get sloppy. It's going to get messy. You're going to lose faith. You're going to lose trust with other traitors. Now you have the chance that traitors are going to come after you. It improves their position.
I think like slow and intricate like works in stories and movies and TV and stuff like that. It doesn't really work in real life. It's like a lot of things are just simple.
Well, also like on Big Brother or Survivor, you can decide like, oh, my alliance is screw me over. I'm going to go talk to these people. We're going to rearrange it, and everything is great. But I don't think that really works on the Traitors. The Traitors does not work at that pace, and there are too many undecideds. And you since no one ever inherently trusts anyone, more so than on those shows, you just can't predict anything.
Yeah, no, it's rough.
Yeah, I would say
best show on TV.
Best show on TV. If you're a faithful, so do you? I guess we already talked about this. Do you go with the herd or strike out on your own? Because there is value in having moments where, like the herd, you're going along with a herd, but like I think if you kind of maybe fire off a random shot, like Dolores going after Sandoval, or just like a stray, that kind of helps build a case that you might be clueless.
I think that,
and if the herd votes out a faithful, it actually may give you credibility because you did not vote with the herd.
I think in the end, the more clueless you look, the more a liability you become. I think. Yes, you may get one. Like, I don't think you plan for it. I think it should feel natural.
Yeah.
I think that in the end, like ultimately, what the game really is a test of people's ability to detect authenticity. I think a lot of people think it's not. The game isn't that, but a lot of people think it is. I think a lot of people go like, oh, I have a feeling about this person because they're doing something off. And the answer is like, truthfully, you don't have any information. You're piecing stuff together and it's not really true. But because of that, you attribute something to them that isn't there.
Yeah. If you're faithful, what is the most important data you should keep an eye out for? What are the things that people, when we watch these shows, I always am like, why are they not paying attention to this or that or that? And now, admittedly, some of it may be editing. Maybe the editors, maybe they have discussions about things that don't make it. But it seems like sometimes there's like a smoking gun one episode, and then the next episode people forget it.
Yeah, I think, and this is a good question because like, especially in this season, there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
I think people, for whatever reason, go on their emotions and they don't look back and go like, how did we get to here?
Yes.
They don't reflect. They don't look back and go, oh, this is how we got here and who put us here. And I can understand why, like, especially with 20 people, that's a lot to keep track in your head. And if you're, once again, if you're amped up because, you know, your life is on the line and blah, 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 you're not going to play optimal as you think you are.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's hard is that like, you do not play optimally, but, I think that people need to be really vigilant about remembering who people vote for. And I think that, because I think who you vote for can help.
I think
it can start leading you down correct paths. Like if the whole herd votes one way, then usually, and then a faithful gets voted out, then usually I might just say, okay, I'm going to give a little bit more credence to the person who did not vote that way. You know, because like a traitor most likely is going to hide in the herd. So I would just use that as ways to start to like.
Sure.
Just to sort of narrow down the field. It'll always be flawed, you know, because then if that becomes a way of thinking, then traitors will know not to hide in the herd. They'll do their own thing. And then it's like, okay, now we can't use that. But I think it's like really important. You know, this season on Traitors US, I kind of feel like they would have gotten out of Traitor sooner if they just looked at voting records.
Maybe. Like, I think we're saying the same thing, you know, as far, or similar things as far as like there are many times where like Boston Rob, you know, would do his magic, and then people go like, oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then, but eventually he did it too many times.
Yep. Okay. So now you're in the hot seat.
This is a serious one now.
We're getting really serious. These questions. This is like things. If you're going to be on the Traitors, this is stuff you need to think about. You need to.
And life. Serious. Just find the connection to life, because your life will be better if you can.
You don't want to be caught off guard at all, ever.
Yeah, like every day, like you're watching TV, you're home playing PlayStation, you're walking to 7-Eleven, and any one of these things could happen to you. So
yeah, you need to be ready, because you know what? Honestly, it's the people who go on to the Traitors who have no idea what they're doing with that infuriate us. So we're just trying to like equip future players. Okay, so you're in the hot seat.
I'm in the hot seat. Okay.
And someone says, Paul, I think you're a traitor because you don't talk enough. How do you respond?
Like, I want someone to try this. Like, you know, like, I hear what you're saying, and I think you're right. I don't talk enough. I'm really scared. I don't know. I'm completely clueless, and I don't think I don't want to throw anyone under the bus. I don't want to cause any problems for us. But at the same time, like I like the more I talk, the more people I'm gonna not make sense, and then people are gonna vote me off because they think I'm trying to obfuscate. I'm not. Just saying the word obfuscates are probably too much. I think that's a good approach, because I think in the past what we've seen when people are like accused of not talking enough, people will say things like, I do talk. Maybe I don't talk to you, but I do talk to a lot of people. And I think that like rubs people the wrong way. It's almost like, because you're denying their reality. So even though you talk, you're saying no. It's people, whoever's accusing you is going to actually feel like they're being gaslit by you. So by you saying like, you're right, I don't talk a lot, I'm scared shitless. I'm afraid that if I put my name out there, I'm going to be accused of being too aggressive, too domineering. What if I say it to a traitor? Maybe I need to come out of my shell a little bit more. I'm happy to talk now, or whatever. Like, would you actually say like, you know, ask me questions, I will give you my theories on anyone here at this table right now? Or was that too much of a... I like, you know, I wouldn't go that far, just because I don't want to like that's a big one. That's a big move. But like, you go like, look, I'm like, come talk to me. Like, I will talk to you, you know, but like, I don't want, until I have a strong feeling, it's irresponsible for me to just, like go with the herd.
But now on the other side, you're in the hot seat. Someone's like, Paul, you're throwing out too many names. It seems like you're throwing stuff out there. It seems like you're deflecting. It seems like you're trying to stir the pot. What do you say with that?
I go, well, yeah, I am. Like, I don't know who anyone is. I'm hoping that like I say something and a traitor makes a mistake and we can see that. Because
that's what I would 100% say. I would say I am saying, because I'm trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah, like I like come talk to me. I know as much as you do. Like, I'm just trying to find out some information. People, like I don't have to lie because I'm good and I don't know anything. But people who have to lie have to keep a bunch of stuff in their head. Hopefully, I think more people should stir the pot.
Yeah, I think what I would say is, not only am I saying putting a lot of names out there, but if I were a traitor, my best game plan is to go along and get along. I'm not trying to actually necessarily stir the pot. I don't need to stir the pot because I can always murder someone. I just have to like hang out and listen and keep an ear out for if other traitors are in a mess. But I don't have to put out names and be crazy and do that aggressive game. And we've seen how the aggressive game works, and it doesn't usually work very well. So if anything, I think me trying to say a lot of names, that like actually speaks to the fact that I have no idea what's going on, and I'm just trying to shake trees and see who gets caught in a lie and who messes up. That's what I'm acting like I'm actually now at the round table.
That's right.
I'm now doing my round table speech.
There you go.
But that's what I would do. But then if someone says, let's say you say that, which is a really compelling thing, and then someone goes back to the person who's not saying it much and says, well, they just said that if you're not talking a lot, that's actually more of a traitor behavior, then what do you say?
I go, like, how many times have you guys played this game? This is my first time. Like, I thought it would be very different. I watched this. I watched 3 seasons. It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Like, do you want me to shake some trees? I can shake some trees, but like, I don't know if I'm helping anything. And truth be told, I would say this: I'm afraid if I do that, the traitor will hit me.
Yeah. But another thing that comes up at the round table is that people will often say something like, you were doing X, Y, and Z, and that's traitor behavior. And they always just sort of say traitor behavior. They sort of have this idea of what a traitor does, and that's what it is. And it's kind of this umbrella term that has no definition, but at that moment it feels like the right thing because emotionally they feel that way. So if someone says, Paul, you've been really arrogant, and that just feels like traitor behavior to me. Like, how do you shake the traitor behavior accusation when you are a faithful, or even when you're a traitor?
Here's what I would do, because I'm me. Like let's play it. Accuse me.
Paul, you recently have been hanging around like with not a lot of people. I've seen you speaking to like only one other person, and to me that seems like traitor behavior. You're deflecting a lot. That's traitor behavior.
Thank you, Ben. That's a good note. I'll stop doing that. I'm not a traitor, so like but if I'm looking like, if I'm picking like a traitor, I'll stop doing that. Yeah. Thank you.
I think saying thank you is oddly disarming. That'd be interesting to see how that works. Okay, so now you are a faithful. You have a really strong case, and it's a case for, it could be either why you're not a traitor, or just like, you see like, hey, Boston Rob is a traitor. And like, Chriselle, you may be saying that, Wes is arrogant and that might make him, a traitor because that's traitor behavior. But like, here's a really good argument for why Boston Rob is a traitor. And it's when people are voting emotionally and they have their mindset that like, this person's a traitor, and they feel this way because emotionally their instincts are telling them that, and it's too powerful to not trust your instincts. Sure. How do you dislodge someone when everyone is like, has an idea of like, this is how it has to go?
Let's just take the real life example, because it's so if I were Derek and like I pleaded my case, and then Wes pleads his case and basically says, and I'm right because I'm the most amazing person who's ever lived. Yeah. And then someone goes like,
you're aggressive.
I go, and a lot of people are going, and then Wes like does it even more. I go, hey guys, we gotta stop. Okay, let's agree on one thing. Wes is an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And truth be told, I wouldn't really like him to be here either. However, just because he's an asshole doesn't mean the data points that he is
a traitor.
Shut up, Wes. Shut up.
That he's a traitor. In fact, it proves that he's probably less likely to be a traitor.
So I think, at least for this moment, we should like put a pin on Wes and go to the argument that has the most evidence, which is for Ben. Ben's obviously the traitor.
I'm the traitor.
Like, you know, and truth be told, the worst that can happen is we take out a strong player that would have like probably put us under the bus anyway.
Yeah.
Like it looks like he's a bad person, and even if he's not, he would kick you guys off.
But what's harder is when you are the one who's being accused, because if you're like a third party and you're saying don't go in that direction, go in this direction, it's one thing. But like I played these games like Secret Hitler or whatever, where I have been innocent, and I can say, guys, I am making a pitch. And if you look at this voting, like look at where this vote happened, and you look how this happened, and you look how they did it, and they said this and this and this and this,
and then people go like,
and people say, Ben's,
yeah,
that's
Ben,
a nice story, Ben.
You think you're cute.
Yeah, they do, and they don't listen. And then you try to be calm, but then they talk over you. So you reassert and you say, no, guys, listen. Please listen to me, because I'm making a case here, and they don't listen, because people kind of, when they make up their minds, they're really hard to.
But that's the thing. Like once they made up your mind, you've lost. That's it. Like there's no version of it changing you. If they've made their mind about you, you can't change their mind. That you know.
But what's the best way to maybe like? I guess before it gets like locked in, are there like how do you stop it? How do you stop it?
Thank you for the note.
Thank you for the note.
Like you know, like I hear you. It's basically you acknowledge their reality.
Yeah.
Like ultimately you go like, hey, here is your reality, and you're seeing all these things. You know what? If in your shoes, I see these too. I know you're concluding that I'm this, but here's the alternate explanation for that, which is my explanation. Is that like I'm a real, you know, I won one show that was okay, and now I have a big head because I'm like really scared and shallow, and this is all I have.
Yeah.
So that's why I have to say I'm the best.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's hard. I think you have to. I really like your approach of thanking someone and acknowledging their reality and saying, if I may, I understand that this looks things are moving against me right now, and once that happens, it's really hard to unstick myself. But what I will say is we've had a lot of people who have gone home who've been faithful, who people have felt in their instincts, in their guts, or emotional reasons, and we haven't heard their side of the story. And so I'm not going to tell you not to feel the way you're feeling, but I would like you to hear my side and just to consider it, and hopefully I can change your mind on it. And maybe if you can sort of proceed calmly like that, maybe that would be a way to get through, to say like, I acknowledge you, but like also don't forget you've been fucking wrong before this entire season.
So the true is like what you do is you make it so they feel guilty for voting for you. Like that's the dark side of it. Like, you know, and ultimately
it doesn't always work though.
It doesn't. But what you do is like you go, here's the accusation. And then you make it so that, oh, that accusation was quite hurtful. Most people don't do well with that. And then you calmly and not aggressively, so they're not defensive, go, here's what happened for me. Like, and I don't know if this is too late to explain to you, but like here's my situation. Like I'm faithful. I'm trying my best. You know, I'm not that great at this game. But all these things, and you go, if you want my life in your hand, here's my life. It's in your hands. But like I want you to see me before you, you know. And I think a lot of people.
Maybe is there a way to say, you say, okay, I understand that it looks this way, and you know, I know it's gonna be very hard for me to try to change any minds. However, based off of, voting habits, we have been actually very incredibly wrong a lot of times. And maybe the moments that we were right, we had this piece of evidence, this piece of evidence, and this piece of evidence. But in the moments where we didn't have much evidence and we grasped at straws, we expelled people with the same amount of conviction as if we had evidence. So, like, given that we don't really have that much evidence and it's really just like gut feelings, I'm not going to take away your gut feeling, but I also want you to consider that I have this case to present for myself, and I think you should consider it. Otherwise, you're just following the same flawed thinking that expelled 4, 5, 6 people.
I think the difficulty with that is like that can be construed as low key, like dummies.
Shaming. It's like shaming. People don't want to think that they're because it's people often on the Traitors are like, okay, well, we just voted off 3 people because I got a bad vibe off of them. But this time, my bad vibe actually will be right. I think it's almost like it's like gambling. It's like you're like, okay, this time it's going to work out for me. I just have to do it one more time. It's like I think people's need to have their instincts validated is so strong in these games.
Well, I think what also is a lack of experience. I think one of the things that really has come out of 1,000 games of Avalon is that you're not as good as reading people as you think. Like, and I think a lot, it's actually a perception problem because you go in with, how would you be? And like, that's obviously traitor behavior. Like, and truth be told, the best that you can do is like, oh, this person is not acting normal. The problem is you're in a heightened situation. No one is going to act normal. In fact, acting normal is also abnormal.
Yes.
So until you have a sense of context of other things, and these are strangers too. Like one of the reasons why we play our game is because we're playing with the same people.
I just want to say the context is that in our game group on Friday nights, there's often a game of Avalon, which is a social deduction game. It's very similar to all this if you've never heard of it. It's the same thing. There's like a group of good guys, then there's like 3 or 4 bad guys, and then you've got to suss out who's good, who's bad. It's like it has a different structure, but it's the same thing where basically we're trying to root out people. And like the game group that we're in I joined the group maybe like 5 years ago or something like that, but the game group's been going on for like 20 years, and like you all have been playing it for years and years and years. I've been playing it at this point for like 4 years or so, and what I will say is I know usually everyone at the table. And I know what they're like, and I know how they act. And when we start that game, I still really don't know who is good and who's bad. I can say, ooh, Paul's acting a little differently. And sometimes you can pick things up. So every now and then you can pick up a tell. But the truth is, the tell game, like honestly, picking up tells, that's hard. Yeah. That's hard. And that's honestly, that's just a guess. Yeah. And people like to think that they are smart and that they understand, they can read people. Most people can't. I'm going to say that right now. Most people can't.
And it's a really weird thing where it's like extreme Dunning-Kruger. Like the because you're bad at something, you don't know you're bad at it, so you think you're good at it. So like, how often do you have to figure out that someone is lying to you, and it's a matter of life and death? Like you're not accustomed to that, and so. In that way, it's hard, and it takes a bit of humility to go like, oh, I'm not good at this because humans are not good at this.
Yeah,
I mean, like people can spot lies in long term type stuff like that. You can figure that stuff out, but like it's an hour game.
Yeah, it's hard.
Like what are you gonna? I don't know.
So my last question. Okay, so you're a traitor.
I'm a traitor.
They're on to you.
They're on to me.
Okay. How do you deflect at the round table? We talked about if you're a faithful being falsely accused, but what if you're a traitor and they're like, you've been doing this or that, like you didn't go for the shield, you didn't, your votes were you were the only one who didn't vote this way or that way. Like how do you get the heat off of you? Can you really when the heat's really on?
First of all, like this is a more intense version of like, oh, I think it's you. Yeah. And you've been quiet kind of, or you've talked a lot. So this is where like we have evidence to say that it's you. And I think the the real trick is that at this point here, people are out for blood and they need a villain.
Yeah.
So you have to always have someone in your back pocket to be able to throw under the bus. And it's better if that person's already been brought up. You know, like ultimately, like, you know, you can just basically do some version of like, oh, I think it's like I understand that's a theory that's been floated around, like, you know, it's wrong because I'm good, but like someone is trying to get me out.
Yeah.
And, you know, and like who wants me out? It's probably someone who I'm close to getting out, and that person, it's only one person that fits that bill, and it's Ben.
Yeah. I think you actually have to. I think you have to name names, and I think you have to actually deflect onto someone else, and you have to. You got to throw someone under the bus, and you got to throw like decisively. And I almost think you have to be ready. There's almost like you should have someone in the back of your head,
100%
at all times. Like, this is my
in case of emergency.
Yeah, in case of emergency, I'm breaking this glass and I'm throwing this person under the bus. Like, you like slowly craft a narrative, so that way. And if you have to lie, you may just have to blatantly lie, and you have to say, "I hate to tell you this, but so and so, you know, told me like we have to point you to get vote out, whatever." You can just lie and say, "You know what? The truth is, Chriselle came to me and said that you're the traitor, and I told her it was ridiculous, and I wasn't going to say anything because I like Chriselle." And I don't want to ruffle feathers at the round table, you know, but like if it's coming down to this, I'm just going to have to throw her under the bus because she said it, and now she's not backing me up, and I backed her up by not telling her secret that she tried to get you out, and now it looks like I'm going to go down in you know, like just like blatantly lie, and she'd be like, "I never said that. I never." And she said that she would, if I ever brought it up, she was deny, and now look at her denying. I would just make up a falsehood, like, and like, because I find that when people act the most out of fear, and if someone feel like they could be like, "I don't have a good feeling about you," but if you say, "Well, so and so's coming after you instead," I think that's more of a motivator. Like, "Wait, you're coming after me? You said my name?" Then I think that's what I would do. I would just.
But see, here then you're relying on the amnesia, because the moment Chriselle goes up because I'm a faithful, then you look like you said all these lies, and you're hoping that people don't remember it the next day.
That's actually a good point. if you put out Chriselle, well, I mean, okay, so you throw someone under the bus, and they say they're faithful, and then you look even more like a traitor.
If you lie, if you
lie, I'll be like
blatant falsehoods,
and then they're like, "You lied." That would be really bad. Because if it was Survivor, you could do that on Survivor. You can't do that with this. If she says she's a faithful.
Yeah.
How do you get out of that pickle then? Let's say you just blatantly lie. How do you get out of that pickle? I don't think you can get out of that pickle. That's a bad pickle. If
you go like, look, like right after she gets like, okay, look, I know this sucks, but I completely lied about that. No, seriously.
Just say like, I just needed to get the heat off of me.
I felt like everyone's going for me. She did not do that. Like I thought she might be bad, but like she did not do that. I really like I want to be here.
Lying is hard. Yeah, lying is hard.
The moment that you lie, what you need to do, I believe, is betray a traitor.
Yeah.
Because like you go like, oh, you made a mistake, but then now you spearheaded a traitor. Oh, you might be good. Then it's a 50-50. Whereas if you have to if it's like 90% you're gonna be killed next round, throw a traitor on the bus, it'll be 50-50 then.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's my guess.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. Well, it doesn't look like we'll be on the Traitors anytime soon. But next time we play a social deduction game, maybe we will apply these principles.
I'll try to thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for the note.
Yeah, no, yeah, thank you. Thank you for the note. I wish I could remember everything we talked about because we talked about so much.
But, if we recorded this, we could see.
That's right.
You know,
thank God people can like and subscribe so that they can always come back to this. And by the way, that whole thing I just proposed about coming up with a blatant lie, that's why I won't win. That's why I won't win, because I'm going to try to do something underhanded like that.
Because you want to do something sneaky.
I want to do something sneaky because it'll be hilarious if it works.
Yeah, no, like I want to see if this the gratitude note gift.
I don't know. I think my idea is better for it's better for a game where you don't reveal, because most other social deduction games or Survivor, you don't reveal what side you're on. Survivor's not even an issue.
Yeah.
But in this game, since you do reveal, that's bad, because then your lie could be totally repudiated.
Yeah, repudiated. Good word.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for your insight on this. And I guess we'll have to see what happens on the rest of Traitors.
Yeah, like the next time I'm here, which may never, who knows?
I hope you don't get banished from Table Scraps.
That's right. There you go. Oh, there'll be a vote.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.